Similar to many of you, I suppose, one of my favorite movies is Schindler's List. It's a beautiful film about not just those who were in the atrocities of the concentration camps of the Holocaust, but it's the story also of a man named Oskar Schindler, who went through this self-discovery journey, figuring out who he was and why he cared about what he cared about. Ultimately, he ended up saving hundreds from the death camps. There's a line at the end of the movie that we're reminded of what power is. Schindler says something like this: "Power is having the ability to destroy the world time over and over, and choosing not to." That choice not to exercise power in the way that we can is immense power. In fact, you could even say it's even greater power than doing whatever we want to the degree that we can. Think about that. If you have all power, like God does, and you decide that you're going to exercise that power to the greatest extent that you can, all the time, everywhere, in all circumstances, is that more powerful than choosing when to exercise that power and when to withhold it? When to tame it and when to let loose? It seems as though the ability to choose and the wisdom to discern when, where, and how to use power is the greater show of power. When we talk about power, we also talk about the word authority, those who are authorized to use power. And it draws my attention to this passage from Matthew's Gospel, chapter 28. Let's hear these familiar words. Jesus came near and spoke to them. "I've received all authority in heaven and on earth." Jesus is talking about his authority, who he is, what he is, God incarnate, and what he is desiring to do. God is desiring to bring about God's reign on earth as in heaven, through the disciples. We're hearing this declaration of authority and power as part of the Great Commission. God is doing God's work through God's people. What a display of power. Not to just make it happen, but to understand that it is through us, through our choices, through our discipline, through our desire to make the world what it can be, that we are going to be about that kingdom-bringing experience. God's power is demonstrated when God chooses to allow God's own people, us, you and me, to exercise love, grace, possibility, and to channel the hope that Christ brings us. It's almost as if God has decided that the world would be all the better if those in it helped to create what it can be. Amen.